in the world than Meryl Streep.
She's for real. She is very authentic, and she's someone who just seems to be lit from within. I think that's why everyone loves to watch her work.
Okay, enough about her. Let's talk about you. So, first of all, as if Emily could be more likable, she went and married someone from here. Newton's very own, Newton South's very own, John Krasinski.
I've got Mr. and Mrs. Krasinski in the house tonight as well. They're so embarrassed, they're like, do not bring it in.
So she has to perform in front of her in-laws.
No bad language tonight.
So about this film. First of all, were you familiar with the book? Because if you weren't, and a script came across your desk that was titled "Salmon Fishing in the Yemen,"
Yeah.
I'm not sure what your reaction would have been.
Yeah, I had not read the book, and when I saw the script, I thought, how on earth is this film getting made? You know, because it was just such a weird title. And I called my mom and I said, I've been offered this movie, I really love the script, it's salmon fishing she went, in the Yemen? And I was like, yes. And she was like, oh, I love that book, and it's amazing, you have to do it, it's wonderful. So she was all for it.
Does anyone in the audience know the book? Are you familiar with it? Yes, I think it's more popular.
More popular with the Plum family, apparently.
The director of this movie is Lasse Hallström,
Yes,
who directed Chocolat, and the screenwriter is Simon Beaufoy, who is screenwriter for Slumdog Millionaire and many other things. So I would think the pedigree, were they attached at the time that you?
Yes, Lasse was attached, and that was a really real draw for me, because I think he brings the most unique sensibility to all his work, and he's just full of heart. You know, he's a wonderfully odd person, Lasse. He's really quirky, and I knew he'd at least bring something interesting and fresh to this film.
So, first of all, it's beautifully filmed. I mean,
Yes.
It looks extremely exotic. Was it fun to be in those locales?
Yeah, it was heaven. I mean, it's like being in some sort of desert like Neverland when you're out in Morocco. It was just beautiful, and between takes we were sipping coffee in a Bedouin tent, and you just think, oh God, what an extraordinary job. And Scotland was wonderful as well, beautiful. And it was just a lovely atmosphere. It was one of those magical films, and they're not all like this. You know, they're not all as easy and effortless as this one was, and everyone had a great time on it, which is quite rare.
Yeah. And so tell us what it's like to work, romantic comedy, it's a very tricky thing, not done terribly well these days. So tell us,
Right.
how,
Maybe
what is,
overdone.
so and you and it did look like there was, very believable relationship there, and that it might have been fun.
Yeah, he's heaven. I mean, he's really easy to work with, and he's fun as hell. I mean, he's just lovely, and it's a funny thing with chemistry, because I feel like people I've had chemistry with, but both men and women, I feel like it comes out more effectively if you have a great rapport offset. I think you find a natural rhythm with that person that really resonates on screen as well. And then other times you have to kind of cultivate it, which is not as fun, it's a bit harder. But yeah, he made it very easy. I'm sure a lot of people love you. Very easy to love.
And the river that's actually, is that real? Is it
We built
generated? Really?
Yeah.
Built a dam?
The one we swam in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's real. Imagine green screening that. No, we swam in it, but it was freezing, because what happens with that desert climate is it's boiling during the day, and then the temperature just plummets, and it was freezing, and it was only 2 feet of water, and we're having to pretend we're swimming in this, this huge dam, and we're scraping our stomachs across the rocks going, isn't it beautiful? It was one of those really weird moments of shooting a film. It was not the most pleasant experience being in the Wadi.
In Toronto, huge reaction to this film. I mean,
Yes.
people really loved it, and as you go around the country, I'm sure you're seeing that. What do you think it is about this film that's it's hitting people?
I think it's uplifting. I think it has a really lovely message of the impossible being made possible, and it's important to show that relationship between the East and West and a shared aspiration, and I think there's a really hopeful message in that.
And do you really speak Mandarin?
I only learned how to talk about sandstone walls and water pressure. I don't know how to say hello. My name's Emily, but I only know how to talk about salmon. And I had to learn it. Had this lovely Chinese girl come around to my place, and she said it very rapidly, and I said, "Oh, that is fast. That is going to be tough." And so we paced it up slowly, and I just practiced it over and over again. And then I played a prank on my mum, and I left a message on her phone. And I didn't say anything, I left it for 2 days, and then she called me, she said, "I have this extraordinary voice message." And I said, "Did you? What was it?" And she said, "It sounds like Chinese." And I said, "It was me." And she was like, "I'm going to kill you." She was so weirded out by it.
Proud moment.
Yes.
What else are you working on now that people might be looking forward to?
Well, last year I did 3 films, 2 of them very small. I did a film with Colin Firth, which was a very strange, beautiful film about a couple of social misfits. I did a big comedy with Jason Segel called 5-Year Engagement, which is very bawdy and very funny. And I also did this sci-fi thriller with Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Bruce Willis called Looper, and that's very cool. I really like that one.
Anything coming soon? Very soon?
5 years coming out at the end of April.
You're blocking that right now. So I'm going to let some of you ask some questions here first. So start with you.